After 50 years, Super Sentai is officially ending, but did you know that Hasbro and Power Rangers played a huge part in the show coming to an end? Let's talk about it, break it down, hit that intro, Rangers.
You are watching the Fan Club.
You're watching the Fan Club.
And you're watching the Fan Club. Do you know what time it is?
And you know what time it is.
It's time for the Fan Club. Let's go. Hey!
I can't do this on my own, cause you know things ain't always sweet when you out here in these streets. But my Morphin, when it morphed, I made a fake one.
Power Rangers was a big part of Super Sentai's success in Japan for many years. However, I believe it did have a handprint on the death of Super Sentai. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. We are so freaking happy to have you guys. This is a really good one. It's a juicy episode. There are a lot of things to talk about, and I was gonna make this video yesterday, but I'm glad that I didn't because I was able to put a lot of different information together and talk about it. And I have to shout out Dan at the Legacy of Nerd because I'm stealing a lot of his images and captions and stuff, and then we're gonna give you our thoughts on everything. But like in the title, Super Sentai is coming to an end, and Hasbro and Power Rangers did play a part in that. I remember about a week or two ago, I brought this up and some fans are like, no, there's no connection to Power Rangers and the death of Super Sentai. I'm like, bro, they were making money off it. If the money starts going away, then we're making less profits, and then we got to start moving around and doing some things. So that was the first thing I kind of thought of a few weeks ago as a businessman, because I run several businesses. I always look at the books, okay? One of the first things I do when I hear about this stuff is I think about, like, why it's happening. They must not be making enough money, and sure shit, Super Sentai sales and toys and, like, TV ratings are down. So they're gonna have to kind of relaunch this brand a little bit. But it all started about a week ago. We got this news right here. It's official. Super Sentai is ending. TV Asahi held a press conference confirming that Super Sentai is ending and will be replaced by a new series, Project Red, in 2026. Commenting on Super Sentai returning in the future, TV Asahi president Nishi said, "There is a possibility, but there is nothing to say for sure as it is. This comes as reports that the series profits no longer cover the production costs." Meaning, they're not making enough money to keep the lights on. This project is too expensive and we're not making any money to cover the cost. That's real bad. Screw like our profits are dropping. We pretty much have no profits at this point is what they're saying, and that is wild. Now, this TV president said there is a possibility, but there's nothing to say for sure as it is that it's returning. So I believe that you're going to get like Metal Hero style shows, Super Sentai style shows, but I don't think it's going to be the brand of Super Sentai for a minute until they figure out what they want to do. And there's a chance they might hit up Hasbro in a few years. You never freaking know. So then we get into our next piece of information from the Legacy of Nerd. Hasbro buying Power Rangers was a factor why Super Sentai was canceled. Toei lost a huge amount of revenue in toy sales when Hasbro took over the toy rights from Bandai, which they are stakeholders. According to the 2017 financial results of Bandai Namco before the rights were acquired by Hasbro, the worldwide sales of Power Rangers and Super Sentai toys were 21 billion yen for the full year, with only 8 billion yen earned in Japan. Wow. So you're telling me in 2017, Power Rangers made 13 billion for Toei and Super Sentai made 8. Holy crap, now that was the year of a movie. There were extra toys out that year. So what Power Rangers was that year? Was it Dino Charge or Ninja Steel? It's been so freaking long in 2017. I'm like drawing a blank. Was it Dino Supercharge or was it Ninja Steel Season 1? I can't remember. Kill me in the comments. But you had a show going on and you had a movie happening. So there was a lot. So that would amplify that 21 billion a little bit, right? So maybe in a normal year, you're doing a little bit less, but the fact that Power Rangers made Toei 13 billion in a year, that is unreal. Holy crap. So let's read this whole report from Legacy of Nerd. Hasbro buying Power Rangers in 2018 was one of the factors to cause Super Sentai being canceled. Live Door News from Japan reports that the 2018 sale of Power Rangers to Hasbro severely cut into the profits Toei and Bandai was receiving from toy sales. That led to the cancellation of Super Sentai. Other factors were less children in Japan being born and the rise of smartphones. In 2017, Bandai reported that they made 21 billion yen in profit from Super Sentai and Power Rangers, combined with only 8 billion yen being from Japan. Oh my God, that is just unreal. Now, there are factors that did kill some of these shows, especially in Japan, with less children being born and the rise of smartphones. However, when you take away a streaming income, right? So like when I do like social media, make videos, I plug them to TikTok, to Facebook, to Instagram, to YouTube, and I'm making money off of most of these platforms. I'm almost there to make money on TikTok, right? But let's just say that instead of making money on all four, I'm only making one now. Like I got cut off on 2 of my other platforms or 3 of my other platforms. Yeah, my profit revenue is going to be way less. And over time, I'm going to have to figure out how to get other streaming platforms. And when Bandai lost the toy sales for Hasbro, they didn't realize how much free money they were getting, because think about it like this. Yeah, they made their own show and the toys, and then they used the molds, they used the clips for American shows, and they didn't have to do much, and they were giving a buttload of money for just existing and making some extra toys, and giving the Sentai footage and the old molds for the toys you used last year. That's all you gotta give up, right? It was a very, very lucrative venture for Sentai, for them just making their own show, and then a year later we can make money off that show again. It's very interesting. And then that plays into the next topic, where Bandai was giving a chance to buy Power Rangers in 2017 but declined. Saban later sold Power Rangers to Hasbro in 2018 for $500 million in cash and stock. This is crazy news, because think about it like this. Bandai could have been running the whole show. Now, I've seen some comments of some fans saying that Bandai was screwing up in 2016 and 2017, especially with a lot of the movie figures and stuff, and they don't know if they would be able to kind of manage this, but I do believe that Power Rangers would still be their biggest brand, so they would be forced to kind of jump into it. Now, I see their argument. They're like, yo, we've never had to pay a bunch of money. Why would I pay $500 million for Power Rangers when no matter who owns Power Rangers is going to pay me for the Sentai footage, right? That was their thinking. They didn't really care about the toys too much as long as they were still making money from the footage. Now, in like hindsight, being 2020, right? They should have kept the toys, because that was, I mean, according to the numbers, the toys were making them way more money than their own toys, right? They were making a killing in 2017. What'd they say? 21 billion yen, and only 8 billion was coming from the other side, right? Like, it's interesting to me that they didn't jump on that, but in their eyes, they're like, yo, we've been getting paid this whole time. We've never had to put up anything. And now you're saying we have to buy Power Rangers? But at the same time, that is how some of these like brands go out of business sometimes. Like, I remember back in the day when Sony wanted to work with Nintendo and they said, go screw yourself. And then they wanted to work with Sega, and Sega of America was like, yeah, that's a great idea. But Sega of Japan was like, no, screw that. What does Sony know about video games? And then they inadvertently created the PlayStation, right? Nintendo and Sega created their own demise, if you will, or their own competition. And Toei did the same thing. They created their own demise and their own competition. Within Hasbro now has the license, and you pretty much don't have anything to do with Power Rangers in America. Even though you really didn't before, but you were just getting a profit off the toys in the show, and it was a good look. But since you didn't buy it, now they sold to somebody else, and Hasbro has a completely different view of this franchise than Bandai and Toei did. And over time, they're like, why are we paying Toei for this when we own all these characters? We could probably just make our own original thing like Transformers. So, like, Bandai's thinking kind of got used against them, which is just wild. And then our last point from the homies over at the Legacy of Nerd, there was an interview with the Toei executive. I'm going to butcher his name, so I apologize, but is it Shinichiro Shirakura? And he sat down and talked about how Power Rangers kept this brand alive for many, many years because of all of the profits. And there's a chance that Zyuranger could have been the last project if the Mighty Morphin magic never happened, okay? Toei executive credits Power Rangers for helping Super Sentai last 30 more years. And then the miracle happened. Zyuranger turned the base for Power Rangers, which exploded in the US. Now let's read this whole write-up here from TLN. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers saved Super Sentai. Toei executive Shinichiro Shirakura was interviewed by TV Asahi, where he credits Power Rangers as a miracle that helped Super Sentai last 30 more years. Yes, at the time, Super Sentai was already on the verge of extinction. Zyuranger was made with that spirit of maybe it's the last. The young people on the team wanted to try something never done. Put the sixth member in the middle of the story. Today, this has become standard, but at the time, it was not obvious. And then the miracle happened. Zyuranger turned the base for Power Rangers, which exploded in the United States, and the rest is history. Power Rangers was a #1 show for what, 3-4 years, had multiple movies. The first year, Saban made $1 billion off the damn project. It was crazy. It was insane for people that didn't grow up in the early 90s and were able to see the phenomenon of this movement. It was a phenomenon. Everyone was fighting over the toys, and everywhere you went, if there was kids, somebody was doing moves like a Power Ranger, playing with a Power Ranger toy, or watching Power Rangers on the TV. Like, this was the must-watch show for boys and girls. I knew so many girls that like wanted to be the Pink Ranger, wanted to be like Trini the Yellow Ranger. It was everywhere, and it was a giant phenomenon around the world. It was #1 in 40 different countries. So the toy sales were unreal, and that kept Toei going for a very, very long time. And that's why I'm a little surprised that Bandai didn't jump on that, because they know, like, even though in 2017, 2018, Power Rangers wasn't making money like it once did, it still made a lot of money. They would have been in the green if they continued to push Power Ranger toys. I can guarantee it, right? They said that they couldn't afford to keep the lights on pretty much anymore towards the end with Super Sentai, but if they had that Power Rangers money coming in, they for sure still would. Maybe it's not going to be as big as it once was, but that extra Power Ranger money was good. Now Hasbro has it, and they kind of have it like on the back burner. We have things kind of happening in the background. So we know there's a Disney Plus project. Hopefully that's going to be shooting next month like we heard about. We know that they licensed off the toy brand to Playmates for a few years, but Hasbro does want to start making some toys again for Power Rangers once we get this series coming out. So what are your thoughts? There is so much to take in. Super Sentai is coming to an end. Hasbro buying Power Rangers did shift everything for Super Sentai. It changed everything, and then to find out that they had an opportunity to buy it kind of makes you be like, yo. And then this interview makes us real grateful for Power Rangers and Sentai and the relationship that they had, because without Super Sentai, you would have never had Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, right? But now we're finding out that without Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Super Sentai would have been cooked in maybe a 2-3 year thing. I mean, they're just saying that Zyuranger was made in the spirit of maybe this is the last, right? So it was that vibe of we're not making a bunch of money. It's a cool show, but let's try something out. And then the miracle happened. Like the Toei executive called it a miracle, something that they never saw coming, and it changed everything. And that's kind of what Power Rangers was, man. The Mighty Morphin Miracle. Ha 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 ha. What are your thoughts, though? Let me know in the comments. Shout out all of the fans out there that take the time out of their day to watch this content. You are the real MVPs and the reason why we can continue to make stuff like this. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Peace. I want to give a special shout out to the Gold Ranger members, Salima Ramirez, Thomas Franco, Roderick Ham, and the Gamer TV Silent Gameplay. Thank you guys so much for your support, and if you want a video shout out like this one, sign up to be a Gold Ranger member today. Hey, what's going on? Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, hit that share button, and if you can, please sign up to be a member today. We have 3 membership power-ups. We have the Gold Ranger power-up, the most popular. You get into our exclusive fan club chat group. We have fan-exclusive videos that we are adding monthly now. And you get a video shout out. Yes, folks, at the end of our videos, I will shout out your name. We also have the Quantum Ranger power up where you get monthly meetings online with me. Yes, folks, we will talk once a month on Zoom, and you can give me your ideas for future episodes. And then we have a professional package, the Dr. K power up. That is for businesses that want to tap into the platform. If you guys can, please sign up to be a member today. It is highly appreciated, and it helps us keep these videos going. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Hi, we're Bulk and Skull. We have been requested by the fan club to say something funny.